Ha! Bet you didn't expect to see me back so soon. But yeah, I was serious when I said I intended to finish this show. And look at that, we're already at the halfway mark, so hooray for progress! Still, even though this is the halfway point in the season, I'm not quite sure what to expect here. Don't get me wrong, I'm still hoping for something good. After all, both Dino Charge and Supercharge had really good 10th episodes for their respective seasons, so I know this team can pull it off, but the last episode definitely proved to me that this season is still trying to find its footing, making me hesitant on whether or not this episode's going to be any good. Still, I shouldn't jump to any conclusions, so let's see if Chiplin's crew can continue the string of good 10th episodes as we look at episode 10, The Ranger Ribbon. The episode opens with Preston leading the Rangers to one of the city's landmarks called the Ribbon Tree, with Brody saying he remembers the tree from when he was a kid, so I guess it's good he remembered something about being on Earth. Levi asks about the tree, so Preston explains that people wrap ribbons on it to symbolize important moments before revealing a ribbon that has all the Rangers' names on it, which Brody feels the need to read out loud like he's talking to a bunch of kindergartners. Preston calls the strip a Ranger Ribbon, letting us know where the episode title came from, but before the team can put it on the tree, a group of chainsaw-wielding construction workers show up saying the tree is going to be cut down. The teens say they can't do that, at which point the man who hired the workers, Mr. Tien, shows up, along with Victor and Monty as interns, and asks what the holdup is since he wants the tree gone. The lead worker explains the situation, so Mr. Tien goes to confront the troublesome teens, only to be surprised that one of them is Preston, who turns out to be his son.
Oh my god, you guys! Drama bomb!
Mr. Tien asks his son what he's doing there, so Preston tries to explain the importance of the ribbon tree, but his dad won't listen, telling Preston to get in the car. The other Rangers are asked to leave as well, but they refuse to move, so Mr. Tien tells Victor and Monty to get the teens off his property. To accomplish this, Victor grabs a hose to spray the team away, but Preston uses his magic to take the hose and spray the dunces instead. Mr. Tien says the ribbon tree is coming down today before leaving with Preston, so the Rangers decide to organize a protest in hopes of stopping him. Cut to Galvanex's ship, just in case you forgot what show you were watching, where Cosmo Royale introduces the next monster to take on the Rangers, who turns out to be Ripper Rat. Wait, no, that's actually Ripper Rat's brother named Trapsaw, who likes to set up traps, but unfortunately he's also a complete moron since he keeps getting hurt by his traps. Galvanex doesn't think that this will be the monster to take down the Rangers, but Ripcon says Trapsaw just needs to work out the kinks, so Galvanex threatens Ripcon, saying he better be right before storming off. Back with Preston and his father, the businessman says that Preston and his friends are costing him a lot of money, so Preston again tries to explain the ribbon tree's importance, but Mr. Tien says trees are cut down every day. Mr. Tien then orders his son to stop his friends from saving the tree, and though he hesitates, Preston agrees to do so. Meanwhile, the other Rangers are busy hanging flyers for the protest all around the city, when we get this totally random sequence of Levi saying a restaurant used to be nearby, but Sarah doesn't believe him. Seriously, this scene isn't a clue to anything, nor does it come back later in the episode, it's just here because. As Brody hangs up his flyers, he runs into Trapsaw, who again triggers his own trap, but before Brody can engage the monster, Ripcon comes down yelling at Trapsaw for making him look bad. Ripcon orders Trapsaw to go after the other Rangers while he deals with Brody, who says that Ripcon may have beaten him when he was 8, but now he doesn't stand a chance. No doubt raising so many questions that I won't even begin to speculate on. The two fight in what is admittedly a much better duel than the one in episode 6, ending with an explosion that knocks the two back after clashing blades. After Brody says he needs to train more before he's ready to face Ripcon again, he goes back to the other Rangers telling them Ripcon sent a monster. The scene soon shifts, however, once Preston arrives, saying that they should give up on the ribbon tree, but Sarah's quick to point out that's Preston's dad talking, not him. Preston says that the only person his dad ever listened to was his mother, before protesters make it on the scene, waving ribbons and picket signs. Mr. Tien shows up as well, telling Preston that he's disappointed in him, adding that despite the protest, the ribbon tree is still being cut down, but the construction workers say the kids might be right, so Preston's dad grabs a chainsaw, saying he'll cut down the tree himself.
Preston, get out of my way this instant.
No, Dad, I won't. All these people came here because the tree isn't just a part of the city, it's a part of their lives. Look at all of them, Dad.
This is absurd. If it isn't me, it's gonna be someone else who chops it down. That's progress, son. You can't save every tree.
I understand, Dad, but we have to save this tree.
January 3rd, Marcus and Ellen Tien loved their new son, Preston.
That's you and Mom.
Oh my, I'd forgotten. We tied this ribbon on the way home from the hospital, after you were born.
I must have buried a lot of memories when we lost your mom.
Wait, you forgot? How? Your son's standing directly in front of you. This is not only enough for Preston and his dad to reconcile, but also convinces Mr. Tien to keep the tree standing, exciting the protesters who were here for about 2 minutes. The good vibes don't last long though, as Kudabots start attacking, so the Rangers jump into action to take them on, while Trapsaw comes in, blaming the ribbon tree as the reason no one's triggered his nearby trap. Cause you know, that makes sense. Trapsaw vows to destroy the ribbon tree, as well as Mr. Tien, who steps in to protect it, but before he can, he's kicked by Preston, deciding to run off when he sees the other Rangers join in to protect the businessman. As the team chases after Trapsaw, Preston stays behind to check on his dad, who says that he's very proud of his son, even though 3 minutes ago he was disappointed in him. Preston joins the rest of the team just as they catch up to Trapsaw and more Kudabots, with Brody poorly delivering a perfectly good Red Ranger line before the teens morph into action. We get yet another pretty good fight scene where Preston and Levi knock Trapsaw back before the team uses an arrow strike to take down the villains. Trapsaw grows giant, however, so the Rangers call on the Ninja Steel Megazord, this time showing the entire combination sequence so the episode can be padded out. Once the Megazord is ready, the Rangers make quick work of Trapsaw, and after the fight, the team is seen demorphing by a mysterious character watching from afar. Back at the ship, Galvanax yells at Ripcon for making him trust Trapsaw, once again threatening the general should he fail again. Later, the Rangers finish putting up a sign for the new Ribbon Tree Park, which Preston's dad has dedicated to the city as a way to keep the tree standing, and after the two go off to put their ribbon back on the tree, Victor and Monty comments on how they were fired, since they've no doubt served their purpose in the episode. The duo's luck is made worse though, since they trigger Trapsaw's final trap, falling into a giant hole, and the episode ends with this.
Brody? Yeah, that's my name. Do I know you? Do you know me? I'm Aiden. Your brother.
That's Aiden? This episode definitely has a better focus than the last one, but I hesitate to call it better. Instead of there being this disconnect between what happened in the episode and what it wants to be about, the main problem with this episode is more in pacing than anything else. The sections with Preston and his father are rushed beyond belief, evident by the fact that they'll both say one thing 1 minute and another the next. I mean, really? Mr. Tien forgot that he wrapped a ribbon around the tree with his wife after his son was born? I know he's grieving and all, but his son is standing right there, reminding him he exists. Not to mention that when the ribbon tree plot is resolved, we still have 8 minutes left in the episode, which wouldn't irritate me so much had the episode not been padded out with the Megazord sequence and that totally pointless scene between Levi and Sarah. Seriously, why was that scene even here? The dialogue in this episode is also not very good. Trapsaw is a complete and utter joke of a threat, so why would Ripcon convince Galvanax to use the monster anyway? It makes the general come off as an even bigger idiot for believing in Trapsaw, and I'm left to assume that the only reason Galvanax keeps Ripcon around is because he's good in a fight. But hey, at least Ripcon comes off better than Mr. Tien, who I might have had more sympathy for had his dialogue up until that stupid ribbon scene not been boiled down to this.
Business. Numbers. Is this working? Yes.
And then there's Aiden's reveal, which I honestly don't have a problem with from a story perspective, though it is a little bit questionable that Brody would just believe this guy who came out of nowhere, even though he didn't recognize him. Though I guess it's good that the episode ended right there, leaving the door open for the other Rangers to be skeptical about Aiden's arrival, but we'll have to see where the story goes from here. Overall, this episode is nowhere close to being as good as the 10th episodes that preceded it, and while it has great action sequences and a decent enough message, there are just too many mounting problems. The bad dialogue, the bad villains, and the really bad pacing ultimately overshadow any of the good elements in the episode, and because of that, I cannot recommend it. Though, now that I think about it, I'm not sure how many people are still listening to my recommendations since I'm so late to the party, but if you guys are listening, I certainly appreciate it. I'm Nick, aka IronBet1993, and may the power protect you. Please subscribe for reviews of Ninja Steel, episode reviews. Also, check out Dino Charge reviews too, episode reviews. Also, there's Ninjago, which has reviews too. Go! Please subscribe.